as we're about to move into number 14, which I'll ask you to read in a couple of seconds. But just think about what she's saying. The vibrations that you send out come back to you, not necessarily the way that you sent it out. That's why when people talk about karmatic experiences, karma is not a good thing or a bad thing. If you send out the right energy, energy gets returned to you properly. It will be transformed in a different way. You'll think that, oh, I saw someone and I helped them with whatever. Don't assume that by that action that you're going to receive that reciprocal action in the same way. No, the universe has a way of being say, oh, you bless this person, we're going to bless you in some place else that you may not know of.
And don't look for
And
anything.
don't even look
It's
for
if you just do it with just. There's so many. I don't get to tell you how many times that we have helped
it.
organizations, individuals, people, and we have not said a
And
word.
it's not for us to say a word because we understand, and not to cut my wife off, but we already understand. People
The
have come up to us and
universe.
be like, yo, we if the people were to really see, like, that's why, and I want to jump into number 14, and I don't want to get too spiritual at this particular moment,
Get there. This is what that was number one. We
but
were
one of
leaving
the
that.
things I would say is, in order to recognize why we are blessed, and remember what I just said, we, to recognize why we are blessed, you have not seen the seeds that we've sown. And we're not talking about from tithes and offerings. You have not seen what we have sown and what we will continue to do. And that's the reason, one of the reasons why it came to our manifestation as we were going through. And that's probably why certain incarnations where the vibration wasn't right
Mm.
until we got right. And when we got right and we understood, like, wait a minute, we have something here that needs to be shared, needs to be expressed, needs to be cultivated, then all of a sudden everything started falling into place. And see, that's some portion of our good karma coming back to us and saying, you know what, y'all two are now not just of age, but now you're acting with some wisdom. Now you're
That
ready.
does come with age.
Yeah.
I do think that Tim's with wisdom. We are not. We got married 20 years ago, and we've been in the same. I tell you the maturity that
Hmm.
we have come into now, and that we can actually stand on our feet and say that we can um, give you advice and wisdom. Oh, I absolutely stand on that.
Hmm.
Absolutely, we can absolutely stand on that.
So number 14, because I know we don't want to take too much time. Pay attention to what your spouse is doing and be their biggest cheerleader. Motivations. Now, the statement itself should suffice, but we will elaborate. One of the things that I've come to understand, especially when it comes to my wife, is that first, when she was working on her bachelor's degree in psychology, she would sit up there, she'd be sitting at that desk, long nights, going back and forth. She would ask me, to read this and read that. But at the same time, I did it. But at the same time, I would kind of leave little things like, Greg, why didn't you check that? I says, no, because I said, it's your work. This is your representation. This is what you're putting out there. And she'd be like, Greg, you forgot this word and that word. But I say this to say, I say that to say this. It was beautiful watching her go back to school and accomplish a goal for herself. And first, that was her bachelor's degree in psychology. Then she turned around and said, I'm going to take it to the next step. You know, she made that vow. She kept that vow to herself. That's what I'm saying about respect it. In order for her to respect me, she had to respect herself. She made that vow to herself. I never forget when our last child was born in 2002. She said, once this young man is in kindergarten, I will continue to learn because we was already entrepreneurs. So
True.
it wasn't a thing that
I went to
she
classes.
yeah it wasn't a thing where she was going back to school because she needed a degree for some particular career, this and that. No, 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 no. Now that she had the time because she established a business and we've completed the childbearing years because we'll always be child rearing. That's one of the things I'm happy I learned so many weeks ago. We'll be 60, 70, 80 years old, and if we're still vibrating in this physical form, we'll still be parents. So regardless of the case, that job is never going to end. But for her to keep that word to herself, to say, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to fight for my bachelor's degree. Then turned around and started working on her master's degree in marriage and family therapy. What was I going to say? I was going to say, oh, no, you can't accomplish that. You can't do that. No, yo, you figured out the time. We'll work around you. The same way when I feel blessed, I'll finish my degree. I got my bachelor's degree in mass communications. And something just clicked to me and says, wait a minute, if I'm really going to impact lives, I need my master's degree. And I went back for early childhood education. And to this moment now, I'm sitting on my left is you know, a licensed marriage and family therapist. In this physical form, in this temporal form, there's a licensed New York State teacher.
And let me just say this.
Mhm.
Um, During the time, the cheerleading part is because when you go for your master's degree,
Woo-hoo.
there is a time where you have to give a year worth of your life without pay. So if anybody's in any type of master's degree,
or at least once or 6 months to a
at
year.
least,
Yeah.
you depending on, I had to do a year. So, and thank God for, now see, this is where the key comes into, where entrepreneurship is the key. Because if you are not in your own, I don't think if we wasn't an entrepreneur, we wouldn't have been able to do that. If I was still, I used to work at the library. If I was still at a 9 to 5, I don't think that they would have been very much so accommodating, because they open from 9 to 5, and I don't know how I would have did that and be able to suffice for the life that we had in that regard. So with that, entrepreneurship would be the thing to do in view going to any higher education. And if that is something that you will want to do, I recommend that entrepreneurship is a way, period, for any couple in life. So if that's something that because you need flexibility, because I was at the clinic 3 or 4 days out the week, depending on the hours and the times I had to do. And it had to run throughout the semester. Meaning I started September, and it didn't end for me until the following August when I walked. So, and that was just my program. My husband's program did it from September to June, right, for a school year.
Well, part of the school year, yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing, is that depending on what program you're in, you have to give your time in those things, and they don't pay you for your internship. You are free. You learning and time, and then you hope and pray that they keep you, at that particular place if they like you. And
if they
like you. So, and that was the thing is, they asked me to stay where I was, and I was grateful for that. And then I was able to staff and that's something it never stopped. The thing that you have to understand is that during that time of season, it will be challenging. And and even if your spouse is doing things that you don't understand. My husband was a football coach. I didn't know one thing about football. However, I'm like, I'm so deep into the football thing that
she's good. She's better than some of you dudes right now.
I'm so deep into knowing how to do the background work, but sometimes I fit in to his world of where I can get it.
You compliment it.
Yeah, I get it. I may not know every scheme. I may not know everything. However, I do know that he loves it. So I'm going to
learn to love it.
Learn to love a little part of it.
Yeah.
And like, we're going to see the fight. That's not really my thing, but I'll go with him. So, and the thing is, There's certain things that you have to do. Like he doesn't really like to go skating, and he'll go there. But there are certain things that you do for your spouse that you normally would not do. So that's just about being a cheerleader for your spouse, even if you may not understand it. Um, and then also be a soundboard when they may be going too over the board, or and
Mm,
be a really good soundboard for them when they
that's
need
good.
it. So and that's a really good thing to be, and not be criticizing, but be a soundboard of support. And that takes time, and that may be frustrating during a time where you feel like you don't see any end.
Mm,
So I will say to you is that if you guys can be one another's cheerleaders and biggest motivators, that can put your marriage to the next time over the top.
that's wonderfully said, and wrap number 14 up in a bow.